Hello, everybody. Welcome to Al's Mike's podcast. This is Al. If you guys didn't know, we have another conversation con el compa Horacio. How many conversations have we had already?
I think two of them. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, that's el compa Horacio. Los que no saben, that's my brother. Way older brother.
No tanto.
Está viejo.
No,
Viejo.
Viejo los cerros y dice un señor y todavía enverdecen.
Ay, no. O como el otro que mi tío cuando dice, te miras igual.
No, así no va.
A ver, ¿cómo va esa?
Le dijo mi mamá a mi tío José. Oye, José, ¿no te haces viejo? Dijo mi tío José, yo no tengo tiempo para eso.
Y se quedó esa.
Yeah.
No, pues aquí estamos con Horacio en vamos another conversation. All right, Horacio. If people that don't know, he is an insurance agent that's always ready, prepared. Right?
We always try to be.
And he's not only he's an insurance agent, he is a business owner. Right?
Yeah. See?
Yeah. How long have you owned your business for?
Since 2007?
Yeah, I don't know. You're the one that opened it.
Yeah, 2007.
You say like it's a question. I mean, I remember when you opened it, but 2007. So what? 14 years?
Around there.
Okay. What's the name of your business?
Smart Stop Insurance Services.
Where you located at?
612 South Broadway in Santa Maria, California.
Ah, there you go. Man, I thought you had experience doing these like commercials and stuff like that.
You didn't tell me I was going to do a commercial.
It's not a commercial, but it's like...
It sounded like a commercial. You wanted me to like sound like a commercial.
No, pues deberías saber how to advertise your own business.
Well, you should have told me in the beginning. He's like, this is going to be a commercial.
Oh, we're gonna talk about you. We're gonna talk about cars and insurance.
Okay.
Okay. Just generally, because uno va con otra. I know you. Well, you insure houses, you insure cars, you insure businesses.
We insure classic cars. If you go to Mexico, insure your vehicle, your house in Mexico, motorcycles, RVs, motorhomes, ATVs.
How about like for parties? You insure insurance parties too?
Yeah.
So somebody's gonna have a quinceañera or is gonna have a boda.
Yeah, we could go ahead and insure them, even though if they're going to serve alcohol también. No hay problema.
And anyway, when insurance a party, what are you covering? Like if somebody falls and like
Somebody sues you for liability. Now, this is based on the state of California. So,
good disclaimer, just for Cali people.
yes, so every state has different laws regarding insurance. My license number is 0D41849.
Damn, we got it go official right now.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
No, we even got the license number.
The Department of Insurance might be listening, so.
Hopefully they're not.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why they should be listening to my podcast. Okay, if they are listening, hi.
Hello.
Hope you guys have a great day and a great night. Enjoy whatever you listen to. No, we gotta keep those happy, those. Porque they're the man, they're the government.
Well, they're the ones that say that you have to, like any advertisement or anything you put, your license number should be there.
Oh, okay.
It's not my rules. It's their
No.
rules.
See, they're the rules, no, pues sí.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start off with uno mira like advertised, as low as $25 a month, or as low as $20 a month, or like really
All those $15 guys.
$15 or y y nomás por esto y casi te lo están garantizando. Almost guaranteed you that you're gonna, you know. And I personally know just because because you told me about the insurance business that it's fake
Well,
because it's based off. It's not insurance is never based off. It's not a, like it's not like you control the rate.
yeah, we don't.
No, the company does on the factors of the car, the individual, the city, right?
Yes,
Location.
Yes,
So-
marital status too.
Yeah, and then like, I mean, who else is insured in there? Like, there's so many factors, right?
Yeah, I even tell my clients, like, sometimes, like, they come in, they're like, oh, ¿por qué la aseguranza a Julano le sale más barata que a mí? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, does he have the same cars? No. Do you have the same age? No. Do you guys live in the same city? No. It's like, how can you compare yourself to that person only if you have the same criteria?
Like, let's start off with just the what you're insuring. You're insuring the car, right?
Yes.
So if I have a 2-door sports coupe, right? Supposedly, you have a 4-door sedan, right? The insurance company sees it as a more of a risk factor, right?
Yes.
So if there's more risk on it, what that means is it's gonna be more expensive.
Yeah, there's going to be more premium.
Yeah, because they're taking more of a risk on you or on the car because maybe the sedan has better safety ratings, right? Or like what factors in a car makes it more expensive?
The value of the car,
Okay.
the insurance rating for the accidents as well.
So like the safety ratings, like
Yes.
like whatever government agency, whatever ratings they get, the better ratings it gets, the lower hopefully it is, right?
Also, the statistics of the vehicle being stolen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, how many thefts for that vehicle. The zip code.
No, I just want to talk about just the car right now.
Yeah, but you were talking about those $15. That's false advertisement.
Well, it's like
It's just to get the people to walk into the door.
well, it's if I just bought a car, and and it'd be still one of the laws, not laws, but one of the requirements in a loan when you buy a car, because most of the time when you buy a new car, you get off a loan. If you're lucky enough to buy it off cash, then you can do whatever you want with it. But while it's you're still paying it off. One of the requirements for for you to have a loan and have the car is you have to have full coverage.
Yeah, comp and collision. We don't say full coverage because there's so many coverages, but that's how people say it, full coverage.
Okay, so then you have to have a certain money on the composition and collision.
You got it. Comprehensive and collision.
Okay. What's the difference between when you have that and you have what people say the law requires, so la que requiere la ley.
Oh, the basic like liability, pues that just covers the other party. It doesn't cover you at all. So if
For example, I get an accident with like a 2018, 2019 vehicle,
yes,
right? It's one of those like I hit the back of the bumper.
okay,
I have what requires the law requires, the basic, like the cheapest available thing, right?
yeah, which is it's sad to say, but the state of California, it's the limits for the standard. It's 15,000 per person, 30,000 per accident, and 5,000 property damage. Which 5,000 property damage is not that much. So I don't sell a policy with 5,000 property damage.
Because
You hit a vehicle right now. Nowadays, most of the vehicles have sensors in the bumpers. They have cameras. Most of the vehicles are really expensive to fix. So if you have 5,000 on property damage, you hit a vehicle that's 10 or 15, 20,000, they're going to see you for that.
because it only covers you until that point, right?
Yes.
Because man, I remember they hit my car, and it didn't even have any sensors, but because it has I have a 2-door coupe, the back bumper, and that was $3,500.
Yeah,
Now just imagine with the car with some sensors and a camera, because all these newer cars now, the newer cars here in California, they require a backup camera for everything. So imagine you hit that, so that's gonna be way more than $5,000, and so then the insurance is only gonna cover $5,000, and then the rest it's out of your pocket, right?
Yes, I'm surprised they haven't changed the limits. I'm really surprised about that.
Well,
Because nowadays, any vehicle you hit, it's at least more than $20,000. And say if you get into an accident, there's like 2, 3 vehicles, you need to have higher limits of liability to cover that.
so then that one doesn't cover. Let's say if you get injured, it doesn't cover you at all.
No, nothing at all.
And then there's another misconception that people have. Explain the difference between the insurance and a warranty.
I get that all the time. Sometimes people call me and they say, well, my transmission went out, my engine. Are you guys going to cover that? I'm like, no, sir. We don't do warranty. That's something you get at the dealership or something you can get online where you cover either the engine, the axle, the transmission. But insurance covers an accident, something that actually happened, but not mechanical
Okay.
failure.
But if the accident causes mechanical failure, but then that does cover, right?
You got it.
But not just you're just driving and it just, I don't know, your piston, something ring or something happens. That's just.
Well, it depends too, because say if you're, I've heard like a long time ago that there was a recall on some, I don't know if it was I'm not really sure which vehicle it was, an SUV that would catch on fire. And I heard an incident where it caught on fire and it damaged some of the property of the actual home because it was garaged in the garage.
Yeah.
So in that scenario, that's totally different because the vehicle caused damage to the actual structure.
Okay, so it caused the property damage to.
Yes.
But the vehicle did it, so even though it was unmanned.
Yes.
That's a tricky.
Yes.
Tricky, but yeah, I could see it. But, well, going back to cars, so just the factor of the car itself, it's not gonna range. That's just one key factor of what the rate is on insurance, right?
Yes.
So let's say, just hypothetical, just estimations, just wide open estimations, like what the difference between having like a sedan, a 4-door car, to having like a truck or an SUV?
Well, the weight limit too. See, you hit a vehicle with a truck, you're going to cause more damage than with a regular sedan. So, say if you have a 1/2 ton, a 3/4 ton, a 1 ton, you hit somebody with that kind of vehicle, you're going to cause damage.
Okay, but does that mean the heavier the vehicle is, the more possibly more expensive it is?
Yes, there's so many factors.
Okay.
That is one of the factors as well. There's a lot of factors that goes into the rate.
Okay, so so vehicles different depending on the vehicle, and then so the mass weight of it, the safety factors, the
airbags,
how many airbags it has, safety features, right? Too.
Yes.
Like if it has sensors, it has like safe lane assist or or
lane keep assist.
Yeah. Okay. So all that helps
Yes.
with keeping to be a lower price.
Oh, so they have low jack, OnStar. They steal the vehicle. They know where it's at.
So anti-theft.
Yes.
So if they have that, it's kind of it takes off the risk factor of the stealing part of it. Like,
yes, because I've heard stories where they steal a vehicle with OnStar, and they know where they're at, and they even lock the thief inside the vehicle and they arrest the person.
good. So that's just a vehicle. Now another factor of the pricing is a person.
Yes.
So people that have been living under a rock, if you think the rate's going to be the same when a 16 or 18-year-old first time driver is going to be the same rate as a 45-year-old with no tickets, you're crazy.
Yeah, the experience factors out a lot.
Now, and then so that's and then like what factors in a person?
Oh, if they have any tickets, DUI, suspensions, accidents. The accidents, they make a big difference. Like if there's just property damage and then you just have one accident and you don't have no tickets, you'll still get that good driver discount. But once there's bodily injury, somebody got injured, then mostly you lose that good driver discount and your rate goes up.
Remember, this is for California only.
Yes.
Yes, not other state. Listening for another state, maybe you plan to visit here. This is like the rules and insurance in California only. So don't think this is from like another state.
Yes.
Because they're all different.
Yes. Every state is different.
Yeah. So just going back to it. So, so a person's record. Now, how long is a person's record? Like, how long does it take for like a ticket to come out, or how long does it stay?
Mostly 3 years, but it depends on the violation because if it's a DUI, it's going to stay there for 10 years. So you're not going to have a good driver discount for 10 years.
And what percentage does that take off?
That's a big discount.
How much?
That's like the biggest percentage. Each company is different on that discount, but that's your biggest discount you have.
How much, like, estimation, like how much, like?
It could be 20% or more.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So
That's quite a bit.
if you have a reckless driving, that's going to be less, but a DUI, you're going to pay more for a lot for your vehicle for those 10 years.
How about like if you have like parking tickets? Does that affect you?
Those are not moving violations.
Oh, so it has to be moving violations.
Yes.
So citations just like, just like parking tickets or, okay. So just parking tickets, no?
Parking tickets don't affect you.
So, but like speeding,
Speeding.
reckless driving.
Using
There's
it-
regular speeding, not reckless driving. And how about like a cell phone?
Yes,
That affects because distracted driving.
at first it didn't, but now they're seeing that distracted driving does cause many accidents. So now companies are not that lenient about that ticket, so they are charging for that ticket now.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, it makes sense if you're distracted. I mean, the risk factor or that's more of a risk for them because you're distracted.
Yeah, you just go on the freeway and you just see people swerving in the lane. You probably think they're drunk, but they're probably texting on their phone or I don't know. Sometimes I go on the freeway and I pass them and they go really slow. They're like going like 50 miles an hour. And then like later on, like 5 minutes later, they realize they're going like 50 and then they go back to 65.
Okay, 80. Okay,
Oh, yeah,
65,
they'll pass you. And then like minutes later, they'll go down again like 55 and then you'll pass them again.
I don't know if you've seen
And I'm going to the same speed.
I don't know if you've seen it, but like I was talking to somebody about this that everybody, all newer cars, que desde 2015 or 14, almost all of them have Bluetooth. Almost all of them. I can see la verdad. Like,
Yeah.
like it's like they all have Bluetooth. And you still see these people with their cell phones up in their like face, like still talking on their cell phone. And it's like, don't you know you got Bluetooth? I mean, if it's an older car.
Hey, that goes back to turn signals too.
Oh, because they haven't they have they haven't put the turn signal fluid on. That's why turn signal fluid.
No, it's because they think they le cobran la luz.
Le cobran la luz. PG&E's gonna le va a cobrar la luz.
Yeah.
Oh man, those are the and then you don't know why they're slowing down. Like they're slowing down. Like why are you slow? Like they're gonna take a right hand turn or they just and then el último.
I passed a guy on the freeway the other way. He was going at 45. And I thought there was an accident. No, I think he was on his phone. 45.
Yeah, I mean it's just man, we could have a whole episode about distracted driving people. Yeah, but it's like yeah, you have it in your car. You're just lazy not to put your Bluetooth on. Like seriously.
I guess so.
I mean, it's yeah. You know, in other countries, the etiquette in driving is so. Well, just to get your driver's license, like in Germany and Sweden, I've heard it's first of all, it's much more expensive just to get a driver's license, and they don't even let you. You're not even supposed to eat you know, aquí no está acostumbrado. You stop by it and now you get a burger, fries, and ahí le sigues, or burrito, or lo que sea, you know, with chips. No, yeah, that's a ticket. You know, so the whole culture of driving is different. I mean, that's why they could have the autobahn, where they could, they could go, you know, how fast they could go, but they're much more strict on their driving habits.
Now that you're talking about eating, I have a story of one thing that I read in the insurance journal. I couldn't believe it, but it was true, but it happened.
¿De qué?
Un viejito se compró un RV, and it was when it was barely starting the cruise control. So he was driving his brand new RV. He put it on cruise control, and he went back to put up a coffee, and he got into an accident.
Wait. So he's driving and he just put on the cruise control, thinking it's Ricky like automated freaking autopilot or so.
Yeah. Well, the story doesn't end there, though.
Okay.
Okay, well, he thought that the cruise control was that it was going to drive itself. So he actually sued the manufacturer
Oilo.
for his pain and suffering. And he was awarded $1 million. The reason why, because on the handbook or the lo que dan
Yeah, like in the instructions.
yeah, it
Owner's
didn't
manual.
Owner's manual. It didn't state that what was the cruise control for. So that's the reason why he won.
Wow. Wow, that's just okay. Well, good for him, I guess.
Hopefully no se quemó el viejito.
He probably bought another RV. No, so back to the driver. So the factors, there's a different factors of just, you know, the record. Of course, the more experience you have and the cleaner the record, the less of a risk you are to the insurance company. And when we say a risk, it's because when you get insured, they're taking, the more of a risk you have of getting into an accident, the more the risk the company has at spending money.
Well,
And the company, the insurance company just wants to, the insurance company just wants to receive the money, but don't want to pay out. Because that's business, right? Because the more of a risk factor you are, right? Then you might get an accident, they might have to pay out more, so you're more a risk factor.
well, that's where you play about we talk about annual mileage, because if you don't drive that much, then you can actually pay a better rate because you don't drive as much.
What I'm talking more is overall just what do what's your rate based upon? It's really based upon what's the probability of a person getting into an accident?
That's
right.
Yes.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's what's the probability. The less probability you have that they see you have less probability of getting into an accident, the cheaper your rate it is. The more evidence you have against you, then more probability you might get an accident in their system, the more expensive you're going to be.
Yeah, I think it's like life insurance, I think.
Yeah, exactly. If you're a healthy person, not overweight, and you have no underlying condition factors that you're probably, so they see less of a risk. But if you're overweight or you have heart stuff, you have diabetes, you have this, pues sí, you're gonna.
Lo mismo.
Yeah. So that's a person. Really, what affects is tickets. Your record.
Yes.
Record and age, right?
Yes.
Okay. How about, let's say, like somebody that had a license in another country,
Well, we could still depends on the insurance carrier.
but then they switch to they get a United States license.
It depends.
Do the experience from the other country come in, or as soon as they come in with are they like brand new drivers with the United States license? How does that work?
It depends on the carrier. Some will give the international experience with the California driver's license or the U.S. Some of them won't. It just depends. Like, I can't talk for all the carriers because some do, some don't.
Okay. And to explain a little bit more, you just don't represent one company. You're an insurance broker.
Yes,
So around how many companies do you represent?
I think about 50.
So you put all the search criteria, you put the criteria to the person, the vehicle, location, everything, and then each company is going to give you its own rate.
Yeah, we do the shopping for them. It just depends what the client is looking for, the coverages, what they wanted to cover, and their their budget as well.
Okay. All right. So and then another criteria we have is location. Location is where you're driving at or where your vehicle is, the base of the vehicle, right? It's
Yeah,
not really where you're driving, but it's really where you're based from, where your house is, where the vehicle is parked, or where it's gonna be at.
Yeah, because a big city, the rates are going to be more expensive than a smaller city because of the risk factors of accidents and thefts.
So a rate, let's say here in Santa Maria, California, is different from Los Angeles or you say San Francisco,
Yes,
but like quite a bit.
yes,
And of course, every company has their own factor or determination how much more expensive it is, but it's much more.
yeah. But you really want to make sure that everything that you actually put in the application, that everything's correct, because you don't want to say that you live in another city, because that's insurance fraud, and they might not cover the claim if they find out that you're not living in that area where you're living at. So it's better to always have everything correct.
And it makes sense, that there's a different price for a different city because, not different city, but the populace or how many cars, really, how many cars more cars on the road,
Yes.
you'd be talking about a city that, 100,000 people to a city that's over a million, that's 10 times more the risk factor, right?
Yes.
That's just people. I mean, but it just means there's way more vehicles. And again, it's more a risk to get into an accident.
Say you live in a big city and you see all these nice cars. You see some nice Mercedes, Rolls Royce, or Lamborghinis. You at least want 100,000 on property damage.
Yeah, that would suck too. Again, well, even having it's, I'm going to. I know you said it. You don't call it full coverage, but a lot of people know.
Yeah, that's how they say it. So yeah, you
that's-
could say it.
That's how the regular person or the regular.
Yeah, that's
If you have full, but that might not cover if you hit let's say you sideswipe or you hit a Lamborghini or one of those exotic cars. Like
even hitting a Suburban, they cost 70,000, around
Yeah,
65.
now they do.
Like so.
yeah, so I mean, you hit something like that, and then. What typically is how much let's say a full coverage or does that cover?
Well, it depends on the limit of liability. The comp and collision will cover the vehicle up to the what the insurance company once the vehicle's in an accident, what the value is. But the liability to hit if you hit somebody else, that depends how much coverage you have. So
Okay. What do you most of the time? What are your recommendations?
if it's a homeowner, I at least recommend to go 250,000 per person, 500,000 per accident, 100,000 property damage, and also get an umbrella policy. An umbrella policy is a policy that say you have 500,000 on bodily injury for all the passengers you injure. So say
How about look? How about this, dude? Let's break down the first three numbers you said.
okay,
So you first said 500,
250.
250,000 on bodily.
Yeah.
So what is that?
Okay, say if you hit a vehicle and there's one person injured, and that person goes to the hospital, the most they'll pay for that only person is 250,000.
So medical expenses.
Yes.
Okay.
So the second limit, which is the 500,000, is let's say there's like 3 or 4 people in the accident, and all 3 or 4 people are injured. So the most they'll pay for all the 4 passengers is 500,000, but just 250,000 per person. So the most they'll pay is 500,000. for all the passengers. You don't get it?
No.
Okay, say there's one person that was injured, and say one was hurt and it was like 50,000, and say the other person was hurt 100,000, and then another 100,000. So the most they'll pay for the whole group is 500,000.
Oh, so why the first one? Why the 250,000?
Because that's just per person.
Oh, that's per person.
Per person.
But if there's 4 people, they cap it off at 500.
That's each accident. Yeah.
Oh, so that's per accident. So that's
a split limit, because there's a combined single limit. A combined single limit, that means, like, say if you have a combined single limit policy of 500,000, that means no matter what happens, the most they'll pay is 500,000.
okay. You know what? And it seems like a lot of money, but with these,
Yeah, injuries, the people get injured, it gets expensive. So that's the reason why I recommend an umbrella policy, because umbrella, you could get 1 million or more. So that means if your standard policy, say that your standard policy did not cover the accident of your limits, then the umbrella policy would cover the rest. So that way they don't go after your assets.
oh, like your other houses, like if you have more houses or house or just whatever assets you have, right? Whatever's
Yes.
into your name.
Yeah, because otherwise they'll garnish wages. And
Okay. Well, that's smart. The whole umbrella policy. I didn't know about that.
yes, it's really good. And they're not expensive. They're mostly year policies, and you'd be surprised. Sometimes if the risk is good, you might see a rate of probably $500 for a whole year for $1 million. But everybody's different, so
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's that's what we're talking about. The person, location, and car.
Yes.
That's the factors that come into to different rates in insurance in California.
yes,
Let's try to be specific. In California, this is all California.
yeah,
Okay, but and now there was a and the property damage. Now that last third number.
that's 100,000.
So that is to fix the vehicle.
Yes, to fix other vehicle.
So that's like the limit. Like that's up to there. Like the insurance will cover that.
Yes,
And then if it goes more than that, then that's hopefully you got an umbrella policy, and then they'll take it off that, right?
yes. Or sometimes if you might have a policy that has more on the property damage, there is policies that have more. So if you have 200,000 on property damage, then that's where you might have enough. It just depends on the accident and your policy.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully one doesn't get into bad accidents, but I mean, yeah, sometimes just a.
That's where the other coverage comes up to play too. There's a coverage called uninsured motorist, and sometimes they call it, not call it, but it's also underinsured motorist. Where say somebody hits you and you have an expensive vehicle, and your damages were not covered by the other party because their limits were low.
Yeah.
So that way they'll reimburse your deductible, and then they'll go after the other person for the.
Like the company will take care of suing them and suing the other company or whatever they got to do. Whatever.
They'll take care of it.
So it's like you having like a team of lawyers. They're just gonna take care of it.
Yes.
But that's all add-on coverages, right?
Yes.
It depends on the company. So all companies like?
All the companies have the uninsured motorist. Yes, they do.
But it's an add-on. Sometimes you got to ask for it, or they have to kind of like.
Well, if your insurance agent has your best interest, which that's what we all recommend, that us as agents and brokers have the best interest of the client. We always try to give them those coverages and explain them what it means, so that way when they do get into an accident, they know what's covered. Mm-hmm. That is what happens when people get policies online. They think they're an insurance agent, and sometimes they'll have an accident, and they don't have somebody to back them up as an agent or broker where they can ask them those questions or help with the claim.
Yeah.
I've had people that sometimes come in and they want help with a certain carrier, and I tell them I can't help you out. I'm not your insurance agent. I'm not your broker. I'm like, where did you get this policy? Oh, I got it online. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. You're going to have to call them up and hopefully they'll help you out. When you get a policy through an agent or broker, somebody local, well, we have your best interest because we don't see you as a number. We see you as one of our clients to actually help you out and
Because
also,
you want to keep them long term.
yes.
Yeah, you see the long term benefit of having a client. That's just it's great customer service. That's how it should be.
Yeah, we grow up with the client. The client has their kids, their grandkids, and we try to always help out the family.
Yeah, of course. But uno está haciendo sometimes online shopping and like you might see these coverages and it's like just example. I'm just saying like, oh look, it's like $15 more, $10 more per month or however the rate is, and you're like, I don't need it. You kind of decide it yourself, but there's nobody to tell you, hey, this could happen. You had a great story about building, no? Remember when somebody hit a building on Broadway?
Oh,
When you were in the old office, remember?
yeah, somebody hit the corner.
Somebody hit the corner, and you were like, and you showed them as an example. Look, if this would happen to you, like, you will not be covered with the minimo or the minimum.
Yeah, because if you
what was your pitch? I forgot that you said like that helped you. I'm not saying sell coverage they don't need, but make sure your customer was well insured and was aware of, hey, look, if this would happen to you, this would be covered. Or I forgot what was your sales pitch or.
Well, it was about that. Say if you have the just 15,000, 30,000, 5,000, you hit a building on the side and say it's 15 or 20,000 to fix that part of the building, then you don't have enough coverage, so they're going to garnish wages. And when you get insurance, you just want them to take care of it. That's why you get insurance. You don't want to have the headache of trying to fix the damage yourself. That's why you buy insurance, just to have the no pensar en eso and just have them take care of it.
Yeah, because the 5,000 is not going to cover the side of the building, like like it's not. And I remember you telling me that it convinced other people, and again, you have to respect people's budgets. I mean, sometimes it's hard on people out there, and then and sometimes they're monthly, mes por mes, and
I understand. That's why you have to you treat every client the same because you want to have them have that knowledge. But at the end of the day, they're the ones that decide what they want to get.
Yeah, you recommend their best interest, or just recommend to them to get fully covered. But if you see that it's just budget wise is not there, and then you're like, oh well, we could do this, but you make your customer aware of of their coverages and know what, hey, be much more careful out there because if something might happen, you're not fully. I'm not saying fully covered. You're covered, but just be careful.
Yeah, and you guys. Sometimes you have like companies that say you rent a car, and when you rent a car, they ask you, "Do you have insurance?" Or does your vehicle insurance company cover the rental car? Some of them will say no. Some will say yes, and that's a benefit when they say yes because when you rent the car, you're just paying for the rental, but you're not paying for the insurance.
Yeah.
And you got some other carriers also that say if you get like a chip in the windshield, they'll fix your windshield for free. And then say if you have your pet with you and the dog is injured in an accident, you got some vet bills there, but not all carriers do that.
Vet bills are not cheap. Trust me, I know. Ay, coqueta. That's the official mascot of Osmike's podcast. Going back to insurance. este. What have you seen the major differences from your? Because you've been an agent more than 14 years, right? Insurance
Yes.
agent. Before that, you were.
Yeah, before it was like before you cannot make a policy active before on a
What do you-
computer. You
Oh.
had to fax everything over.
Oh man, you were in the faxing time, huh?
And then you used to not even use Windows. It was DOS. I don't know what people remember DOS.
Oh, it's the one with the green screen, right? The black and
Yeah.
green screen.
I don't know if people know what that means anymore. and and then when it started, like you could actually pull driving records before you would just go by the word of the client. And then you would get these rate increases because they would have violations.
I mean, how did that happen? Like you would submit it, and like a day later you'll get it, or like.
No, the company will pull the driving record, and then we would get a letter stating, "Oh, your insurance went up because you had 2 speeding tickets."
But how? Like, but did the customer already sign the stuff, or like?
Well, he acknowledged that he didn't have no tickets, so that's how it was before. But then everything changed. Like, it was a funny story. One time I had a client, and he was in my office, and I told him, "Oh, I'm just gonna pull your drive record just to make sure the rate is correct." And when I told him that, he just left the office. I'm like, okay, did I say something wrong?
Have you had any? I mean, I bet you're full of stories of like, anybody that works in like, the customer service industry is gonna have a bunch of.
One time I insured a Lamborghini in Santa Barbara. It was kind of awkward because I was used to like giving the deductibles for 500, 1,000, and the lowest deductible I could get for that person was 5,000. And I'm like, oh, this guy's not gonna want this policy. 5,000 is a high deductible. And when I told him the rate, he's like, oh yeah, it's fine, I'll take it. I was surprised.
Well, yeah, come on. The value of the vehicle, it's like, what is it, 500? It's more than 10 times some other cars.
I know, but since you're not used to like, that was the first time I insured one of those vehicles. That's
For that customer, it's probably like, it's change.
yeah, that was my first time though insuring those vehicles.
It's like, oh, that's what I pay for an oil change.
You're probably right.
Híjole. What other like exotic cars have you insured that it's kind of, or how about this? How about classic cars? How do you do that?
Oh,
Because technically, like let's say you put like Kelly Blue Book or I don't know something like that.
I'm glad you mentioned about this because people sometimes think that on their standard policy, they're 650, 69 and Impala or Camaro or
Whatever classic car it is,
Yes.
because well, even now, I mean, we're getting time where the 80s cars are not considered, they're being classic cars. And
even a Chevy 454 is considered classic now.
okay, but like you see it, like the value and you put, it's only worth like in the official, like it's only worth like 5,000 or 2,000 or, but because now it's rare, there's less. So how does that work? Like
Well,
because we know it's more valuable than that.
Yeah, so I don't advise for that vehicle to be on a standard policy because if it's on a standard policy and it's not in a classic policy, they're not going to give you what the vehicle's worth. And that's something that as an agent or broker, we should advise that all the time because the client is expecting for that vehicle to be valued what it's worth. So when we actually do a classic car policy, we have to take photos of the vehicle, the engine, the odometer, the inside. They want to know everything about the vehicle. And we submit that to the insurance company, but the owner says, well, I think my vehicle's valued like $35,000, $40,000. But it's not up to me. It's up to the insurance company to decide whether they would want to insure that vehicle for that amount.
So what's the difference in coverages? What's the difference? What is standard and these other companies that we'll just say specialize in
Yes.
classic cars?
Yes, they specialize in classic cars.
What's the difference?
Well, the difference is that the standard policies, they just go by the blue book value or the actual cash value.
Okay.
So if you think a vehicle that's that old, it doesn't have value in the blue book value. they might think it's just worth like 2,000, 3,000, when this vehicle could be worth $40,000, $50,000.
because because you got
Plus, it's not going to be your everyday car too,
yeah, that's true.
and it's going to be garaged. It's your baby. That's mostly what my clients say when they insure the classic car. This is my baby.
Because that car gets an accident, it's like, where are you gonna get parts for it? It's difficult to get parts
Even
for.
painting them, it's expensive. The parts are expensive.
I mean, painting, anybody can paint them, but yeah, I get the painting. Yeah, it's a little more difficult, but like the parts, like a bumper, a logo, whatever it is. I mean, most
Even the
time,
chrome accents too.
yeah, you have to go to sometimes you have to go to junkyards just to get parts like that. It's not like you just order it up to from a factory or so. Like a lot of times they're not making those parts anymore.
Yeah.
Some cars, yeah, they do. Some companies are still do some parts for really popular classic cars. Like they have like the blueprints and they still make them, but at a really expensive price. But if it's so what's considered a classic car now? Like from what year to what year? You said now Chevy 454.
Yeah, it's considered a classic.
And that's what 90 to 93 or 94.
It's considered classic. I've been
So anything that's 25 years or older, is that considered classic?
It depends on the vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can't say like a Ford Ranger 25 years, it's gonna have that much value.
So let's say you have a 2001 Monte Carlo. Is that considered classic?
I don't think so yet.
So, okay. So you say you take pictures and all that, but you submit it to the specific companies that just specialize in classic cars.
Yes.
Classic cars and exotic cars, or just classic cars?
Well, an old exotic car can be considered classic too. It just means that the age of the vehicle.
Okay. So you submit it, and then whatever value the customer believes that it's valued, and then they let's say they don't agree on the value, or there's some type of the person thinks it's 50,000, and the company says what's really worth. It looks like it's worth 35.
Okay, then we advise the client if we have to let them know, I can't insure it for that amount because this vehicle they say it's worth this. But when I speak to the clients, well, what do you think it's actually worth? Well, let's give it a shot. Let's see what it is, because if you think it's a reasonable amount, they might agree with you. So, and right now with all the clients I've had, luckily the amounts they've actually given, the actual companies did agree that was the value of the vehicle. So I haven't had that much where they disagree on the amount.
How about for cars that are like in between? Like they're not classic cars, but they're appreciated. They're worth more. Like
It's like those ones that your heart says they're worth more, but they're not worth in the market.
well, I mean, it's one of those. Like just think about like 5 years ago. Like nobody wanted these 90s Chevys or 90s Fords, but now they're becoming classic. Like people want them, right? So, but they're over 25 years old. A lot of them,
I think it's gonna get to the point there.
like the 454s.
Yeah,
So I mean, like the whole rage has come up like a couple years. Like it's like they were out there. They were not. You would see them out there.
They just have to be in really good condition. Really good condition.
But that's what I mean. Like let's say a person has like a, I don't know, like a car that's like right in, like it's not considered classic, but it's getting there.
That's where we have to actually submit it and see what the company says.
Okay.
Because sometimes we don't have all the answers, and that's where we have to go ahead and ask and speak to a representative, and then go from there.
Like I'm thinking of like they're over 20 years old. Remember those super sporting Impalas?
Yes.
I think that's one of the cars that kind of
What year though?
like a 96, I believe, or 97 or 90.
Oh, the one that looks like a Caprice.
Yeah, because I don't know if that's the first car that just came up to me because I know that they're kind of rare, and they're still out there, but they're not really considered classic cars, but they're old cars.
Well, you don't see them around that much, so.
But they're out there.
The less you see them around, the more valuable they become.
Yeah. So I'm kind of thinking just like kind of those cars, like right now, as they're speaking to right now. Because I think any 80s cars right now, it's a classic car. Like if you see what was it, that Buick car that
The National?
Yeah, the Grand National.
That's a classic car.
Right? But I mean,
it looks like a Regal, but it's not.
Yeah, you get the Grand National with the twin turbo V6, like, man. Pero but 10 years ago, like they were kind of there,
Yeah, you see those auctions in Barrett Jackson, you see how much they're worth.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they were worth something like 10 years ago too, but I mean, right now they're just like they're the talk of the town when you find one. I mean, they're that valuable. They're that. I mean, I think they look cool too. They're fast too. They were as fast as the Corvettes from that time. Like, so I mean, and the Corvettes had a V8. Pero so those type of cars, let's say they're borderline, you just gotta submit it and see what happens.
Yeah, just see what happens and just give it a shot. And they say yes, this is considered classic, then we go with it. If not, then we go a different route.
And then how complicated are houses?
Houses, there's a lot of factors: the square feet, how old the house is, the type of roof it has. Oh, and especially if they're really close to wild brush, I mean.
So, what factors does that come like? Is there like a map saying like, "Whoa, it's too close to the cerro," or like how does that like?
It's changed a lot since the wildfires in California. It's changed the industry a lot in the way that they insurance companies want to ensure that actual property and how proximity it is to brush. If I recommend, if somebody has a standard policy, has had that policy for a long time for their house, and it's close to brush, keep that policy, because if that policy expires or cancels, it's going to be tougher to get a policy for that home.
So there's maps that designate like how close you are, or some type of factor that says, okay, you're this close to brush or a hill or some type of.
Yeah, it's mostly the insurance companies have that score.
Okay.
And they figure that out. And sometimes some property might not qualify for a standard policy, and that's why they will go with the fair plan. That's
What is that?
That means that it doesn't qualify for a standard policy, and it's a program to insurance companies to actually go ahead and insure that property.
But I bet it's much more expensive.
Yes, because there's some gaps on that policy. Sometimes you have to get a secondary policy, which is a difference in condition policy, because it doesn't have all what a standard policy has. Yeah. So you have to actually have two policies, not just one.
Because I mean, if you think like a car has a bunch of factors, just get a rate, and that's a brand new car right now. Brand new cars they're from 30,000 and up, right? And a house that minimum, let's just say a house, at least in California, it's 250,000 and up. The value is almost 10 times from insurance, from insuring a car to insuring a house.
Yeah, but see, that's where sometimes people, like when they buy a house, that's where they sometimes don't understand. They're like, okay, we bought this house for $500,000, and then the insurance company probably is covering the home for like say $250,000 or $300,000, and they're like, why is my policy not covering the $500,000?
Okay, well, let's explain that. I was gonna hint on that, but I want to explain it more. So the market value,
yeah,
let's say you bought the house and you bought at market value of 500,000,
Yes.
but the insurance company doesn't care about the market value.
They don't care. They're doing how much is it to reconstruct that property?
What is the value of the actual building?
Yes, we're not insuring the land. We're just insuring the structure.
The structure.
Yes.
And it's not a warranty tampoco.
No.
It's just if something happens to the house.
And then the contents too.
Yeah. Okay. But you're not insuring the land, but if something happens in your land, you're covered.
Well, there's liability.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's some other coverage called service line coverage. That's if there's problems with the sewer from your house to the sewer.
But those are add-ons, right? Those are
Yes.
add-ons. Okay. Just like isn't the wildfire fire one? Isn't that an add-on or flooding?
Flood is optional and earthquake as well.
So that does not. If you don't have those, the flooding. Okay, this is for California.
Yes.
So let everybody know. That's just a statement out there. This is for California. California houses. So flooding and earthquake.
Yes.
So that's an earthquake happens and your house, there's some damage to it. You're not covered.
Not covered.
And there's a flood. También. You have flood damage. You're not. If you don't have it, you're not covered.
No, not covered.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I recommend the earthquake policy because mostly earthquake policies, each policy is different, but mostly they do percentages of the damages. So say if, I wish I had a policy right now so I could explain it. Say if you have a structural damage, say of 100,000 on your property because say it didn't collapse, it just has damage.
Yeah.
So I'd rather pay either the 5 or the 10%.
Of the damage that
Yes.
that's really your deductible.
Yes, the deductible.
The percentage of what has to be fixed.
Yes, I'd rather pay that deductible than pay the whole 100,000.
No. No. It's either 100,000 or 5,000. Which one you want to pay? I want to pay the 100,000. I want to make that my own. Ay. But okay, but now that's I want to go back to the market value is way different than
Yeah, because you might have like 5 or 6 buyers for that home, and everybody's trying to outbid themselves.
So yeah, but the insurance company just cares about what the structure costs. What does it cost? What's the cost of putting a new drywall, a beam, a new flooring, concrete or roof, whatever it is.
Yes.
That's what they care about. Not that you had okay, how about this? How about if the house has like upgraded like vanities or like the flooring is marble or I don't know, like expensive stuff
Yes,
inside the house. Now, like
You need to notify your agent if you do those changes, because then you have to actually increase the replacement value because your flooring is better, or your countertops granite. Your countertops are custom made.
has gold or diamonds implated on it and
Well, they have that. Yeah, you need to let them know.
but the chandelier,
Yeah,
the
you need to
$50,000 chandelier fell and something and
you need to let them know that your interior is
let's say you're buying a house, and you're insuring it, and let's say you know about these upgrades, but you like it doesn't really come up to your head, like it's granite or it's the flooriness, all that.
well, in case something happens, they won't pay what you're expecting.
That's interesting. So it's better to be upfront about what you have in your house. But how do you prove it? Like, do you need like receipts, or do you take pictures, or like when you have valuable stuff inside your house? Because I mean, you might have something. It might, they do. I mean, there's flooring that looks like really expensive, and it's not really, but it makes it look that way.
Mostly, you have a contractor that must have put that flooring in, or those countertops. You should have a receipt of what was done to your house.
Okay, so if you have stuff that you believe you install stuff in your house that it's more than market value. We'll just say that it's more expensive. You should notify your agent.
You should advise. Yes. So that way there's no surprises in case of a claim.
Okay. Any other surprises with the house stuff?
If you have like expensive jewelry, it's really important for you to schedule those stuff.
Wait, why expensive jewelry? Explain that. That's not part of the house.
Well, it's your contents. It's what you have inside your home.
So that's insured?
Yes, it is. Up to a certain value amount. It's like somebody that has a renter's policy has their belongings insured as well.
How about a TV?
Yes.
You can insure your TV.
Yes.
So like it falls from the.
Hey, TVs are getting more expensive. You see a TV out there, those ones that cost like 4,000.
So let's say
3,000.
Let's say you installed your own TV and it fell because you didn't know how to install it. Like, is that covered?
That's a good question.
That's a good question, huh?
Yeah.
That you don't know the answer to.
Hey, you got me there.
Well, yeah, I mean it's like you didn't put it on the beam or you didn't y ahí se te cayó and it's like there goes $4,000 or
Well, it was not stolen though.
but it's damaged.
It depends on your policy.
How about like a sofas? That could be covered.
If it's stolen, fire.
Oh, wow. So the contents inside your house,
Yes.
they're covered.
Hey, but you got another coverage that's really, really good that you have. It's called loss of use. Say something happens to your property, it gets burned down. You need a place to stay. Your hotel is covered up to a certain dollar amount.
Now, is that an add-on coverage or is that?
No, that's always on there.
Oh, it's always on there.
Yeah, it's part of the package.
Okay. Now, explain how combining car and house insurance are like, a package deal that companies,
Yeah, we give you that multi-policy discount.
which is quite a bit of a discount.
Yes, because your home insurance goes down, and then on your autos, you could get higher limits of liability, and your rate won't be that different compared to a standard policy with lower limits.
So it's good to at least get the quote of combining
Yes.
everything, not having everything separate.
Yes.
Is there any instance where you would advise against combining?
Yes, say if that person has tickets or accidents, probably that policy that does the multi-policy, probably the autos are not going to be competitive. And that's where you don't want it together.
All right. And then I know you're you're an insurance broker, but you're a direct agent
Yes.
with Progressive.
Yes.
What's the benefit of being I know you're an insurance broker, but let's say somebody wants to get Progressive, or has Progressive, going with you, what is the advantage?
Well, you get a direct cost. A broker might charge broker's fees. With the direct agent, they're not charging you broker's fees.
So there's no, the brokerage fee of, to start the paperwork, to start you up, it's going to be this much.
No.
It's just whatever your monthly or 6 months, whatever your term is, because, insurance, it's either, monthly, 3 months, 6 months, or a year. Depends on the company, of
Yes.
course. Yeah. But because you're a direct agent with insurance, with Progressive, I mean, direct agent.
Yeah,
with
I'm actually
Progressive.
a direct agent for another company too. So it's a really good company. Is Stillwater.
Stillwater, so también. So if you start off with any of those two companies, like there's no, I would say extra cost,
There's no fees.
no fees. So just whatever your fee's gonna be from the beginning is gonna be at the end.
That's yeah.
Yeah, we don't get tickets and stuff.
Yeah. You know.
Well, yeah, también. I mean, it doesn't mean you like, hey, you got this really, really low rate, and then you get a reckless driving like 2 weeks later. Oh no, well, you told me it's gonna be this much. Well, yeah, don't get in an accident, right?
Yeah.
I bet has it happened that somebody's come, like they get in a ticket or an accident, and then why did my rate go up?
Hey, I had a situation where a lady paid for 1 month and she thought she paid for a whole year. She came the like 8 months later or stuff. So I don't know why my registration's suspended. I pay for a whole year. I'm like, you just paid for 1 month. But it says here that's a year policy. Yeah, but you just paid for a month.
Yeah, I mean, and then I know you told me you sure ATVs, boats, and all the other stuff,
Motorhomes.
motorhomes, and that's all. Is that a whole different ballgame right there, or is it just put it on the system and see how much it comes up?
There's different factors always. The value of the vehicle, motorcycles. Just depends what you want to cover.
Now, the price of new vehicles have increased dramatically, like quite a bit.
Even the used ones now.
Even the used ones, even some used ones are even as expensive as new ones in the market. That's in the market. Now, what is the difference you seen with insurance? Is the same thing with the house that the market is higher, right? The prices, but the cost to repair them, is it still right around the same, or is it higher?
It
Or
hasn't changed that much.
so the rates hasn't really changed.
No, and I'm surprised about that. But that's good. That it hasn't changed that much.
Because what is it? How many years ago? I mean, Suburbans are now $70,000-$80,000, a brand new Suburban. Where, what was it? 10 years ago, you might say they were at 55.
Probably in 2001, probably 35,000.
Oh yeah, but that is 20 something years ago.
That's true.
But I think about 10 years ago they were 55, 50, right around that. You might feel like 60, but now they're 75. I mean, an Escalade, it's 100,000.
Jeep Wagoneer, I think it's around that too.
Jeez, like there's you can't buy a truck for 30 grand, 35 grand.
It has to probably be the base model.
The base construction, freaking.
Yeah, with no rims.
I think.
Hey, they have power locks now instead of rolling the window.
Oh no, I'll say they come with the rolling window.
Oh, you have AC now too.
But I mean, it's just whatever. If you get a mid model, it's 55, almost 60,000 now, right now. And then you get used trucks. They're like 5 years old and they're selling it for 45, 50,000.
That's where people say, well, if it's close to the used one, then I'll buy the new one.
So, but so it's kind of like the houses too. Now I'll say an example. Like the market's up, but
I think that's totally different because you have people that are trying to willing to pay for a higher amount than the other person is willing to.
I think people are still willing. The cars. I mean, people are still selling cars.
Yeah, but you mostly see people that are either Carfax. They want to see the blue book value of that vehicle, not just going and say, "Well, I think this person's going to buy for this." That's where the difference with the home is.
Well, I mean, right now, if you see the car market, I mean, before right now, before all these the shortages of cars
And the chips. I heard that they're not going to have the vehicles are not going to have the wireless charging, some other stuff, some other features.
I don't know. Well, what I'm going to is that, now that the market is like, you see the lots empty, right? It's the end of the year already, and like you see nobody, no, like this is like end of the year specials, right? Any other year, there'd be 0% for this much, or all these rebates, like trying to get rid of the 2021 models, right?
Yeah.
To get introduced to 2022. And I mean, you don't see that right now. You don't, because there's no inventory.
I've heard that the vehicles, once they arrive at the lot, the dealership, they're already sold.
Okay, where I'm going towards that, it's like dealerships are now advertising. You'll pay MSRP. That's like the biggest selling point, right?
I've heard they upgrade the sticker. I don't know if that's correct.
Yeah. Well, no, think about it. That's a lot of the advertisement. And before, the advertisement for dealerships were, oh, you'll pay below MSRP, right?
I don't think I've seen that anymore.
Right. But before, that was the selling point. Oh, no, but these dealership, you'll see, MSRP, 40 grand. And no, we're selling it for 38,999.
With the rebate of
What?
I don't know.
Yeah, with the rebate, you're paying below MSRP.
Yeah.
No. Aquí it's just you're paying MSRP because dealerships are upping the price. They'll put MSRP 40 grand, but they'll put low inventory fee of 4 grand or 5 grand, and you can't control that. That is not illegal, but you're paying $4,000 or $5,000 more. I don't know. A little shout out to one of my favorite YouTube channels, the TFL truck cars. I mean, they have a bunch of channels.
I love that show.
Great show. I recommend it.
Yeah.
The TFL. That there's some vehicles that are being 10,000, 15,000. Like I believe a Tundra TRD Pro, they're selling it for like 24 grand more than MSRP. Like, if it was that the case, I'm like, buy the Tundra and then buy a Corolla.
Well, I heard about the Raptors. That sometimes you see that they're a certain price, and then you would go, and then they would be more higher.
They're $15,000-$20,000 more, and it's just, they put it like a marketing adjustment or some stuff like that. And it's, I mean, one of the most ridiculous one, I guess, one in Miami has a Honda Ridgeline for 70,000 or 65,000.
Wow.
A Honda Ridgeline. Okay, that's a compact truck. Selling it for over 20 grand more than the MSRP. Like, come on. Yeah. But that's just crazy how the market is right now.
Yeah.
But of course with trucks and SUVs, but anybody that sells like sedans or cars, I mean, that lot's full, just because people don't. Right now, it's either crossovers, SUVs, trucks. That's lo que está vendiendo, and the cars just there. I mean, Chevy's not making any more cars.
Yeah, it's just SUVs.
Yeah.
And then the electrical cars are coming in.
So, man, that's a
whole different story. We don't want to start there.
No. Well, they don't.
We'll just leave it like that.
No. But I want to have people thinking about something you told me. Remember, in California here, they want everybody to switch to electric cars, right? By what year? 2030 or something?
Something like that.
2035 or... everybody switched that. No more new combustion cars.
That's selling, I think.
Yeah, or something like that. But you made a great point, and I want you to say it.
Lead by example?
Exactly. So, why aren't they leading by example? Like, why aren't these CHPs riding around in electric vehicles?
Yeah.
They want us to switch, but, they're not switching. I mean, not to get political. I'm not getting political. I'm not doing it against anything. But I'm just saying, if you want us to switch, they should lead by example, and it's true. When the COVID stuff and all that, you see Governor Newsom going around in Chevy Suburbans. They're not electric. And he's the one pushing for electric cars. I'm just saying, it's just the truth. I'm not saying nothing against them or nothing, but I'm just saying, lead by example. Right?
Yep.
I mean...
We'll just leave it there.
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense. It makes sense. We get it. I get the message. We get it. Like, yes, pollution and stuff like that, it does affect it. Because, que casualidad, when this COVID hit, we were in shutdown, like, even the ozone layer was starting to repair itself because of the less smog, the less of this, and there's reports about it. Nature was kind of healing itself. But then, hey, let's go back to driving and go out there. Which, hey, we have to do what we got to do, right? But, yeah, man, we should really talk about another episode about that.
Yeah, just leave it there.
Should just leave it there. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to say about car insurance, home insurance, insurance in general?
Be informed. Know what your policy, what it covers, what it doesn't cover. Because in the point, and when you actually get in an accident, you actually want to know what's covered instead of being that type of person that you're like, oh man, I thought that was covered and it didn't cover it. And it's sad when that happens because you want everything to be covered, or you say, well, I wish I would have got that. It's like it's already too late. So it's be informed, have knowledge, know what you're buying, what coverage, what it covers, what it doesn't cover. Ask questions. That's what we're here for. Any question, doesn't matter. Ask it because you just want to make sure you're covered.
You want to be informed. You want to know what you have. You want to know what you're buying.
Yes.
Yeah, which is, and then always ask about, when you're there, it was like, when I get in an accident, if I can use my vehicle, is it going to cover a rental vehicle? Is it?
If I let somebody borrow my vehicle and they're not in the policy,
are they covered?
yeah, if they're in the house or they're not in the household.
Yeah, it's good because sometimes just take the car, take my keys, and then something might happen, and let's say maybe that person's not covered, or you haven't covered it, and it's.
Yeah, then you'll have an issue.
Yeah. Man, so again, this is not a commercial, but advertise your business.
Smart Stop Insurance Services. We're at 612 South Broadway. Have actually 22 years of doing insurance. It's something that actually I love, helping out the people. Actually helping people out, and that's what I love about my job, helping people.
Well, I'm glad you could help people. You're a people person, huh? People power.
I don't know, but
Just joking. No, well, it's there's nothing like talking to a person, or somebody knowledgeable, or an insurance agent that wants to help you out, and it gives you all the options. They're available for you, and what's best interest for you, not just for them. So, and then you have I know you have a social media, Facebook, you have Instagram.
yeah, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Smart Stop Insurance. You can look us up and follow us, like us on Facebook.
Then on my what is it? I think I could tag you guys or something on. I'll tag the Smart Insurance on Facebook and Instagram. Do you still have the commercial on YouTube?
Yes, it's still there.
No,
But it has the wrong address though.
It's the same phone number, no?
Yeah, same phone number.
There you go. We can all use Google. Get the.
I'm the umpire.
Yeah.
You'll know what I mean when you see the commercial. Can't miss it. The last part.
Well, then you talk at it too. So you talk at the end. So.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
Yeah.
Remember you were there.
Yeah, I was there.
Okay.
I guess I was an umpire for the National League, though. I was wearing black.
I don't know there was a difference in colors.
Well, sometimes I see the American League wear blue.
Never noticed it. Tanto baseball que miro, I never noticed it. Híjole.
Sometimes.
Yeah, well, if you have any, remember these were all questions regarding insurance in California, none other state, because other states are different. They have their own rules, policies, like regulations. So this is all just covers the state of California.
Yes.
So, yeah. Well, we're gonna finish it up here. We're gonna wrap it up with el compa Horacio, talking about his own business and little knowledge about insurance, both house.
Quiero darle las gracias a toda la gente que me ha apoyado a través de los años, porque pues yo sin la gente no soy nadie. Entonces la gente me ha apoyado en poder tener el negocio, porque sin ellos no soy nada.
Arriba la gente. Arriba los plebes. Arriba yo, mi mamá y la chona. All right. No, pues te doy las gracias de venir. And no, for everybody that, we're just interested about just insurance. And because sometimes, we get policy, we get stuff and we don't know about it, or, just, it's good to know and, hear from a professional, um, kind of the insiders, of how the insurance works and what you're paying for, because we have to pay for it. If you have a car, you have a house, whatever you have to pay for insurance. So it's good to be knowledgeable. And thanks for listening. And you can follow my Instagram or Facebook, same Alice Mike's podcast, that's the name of it. And on YouTube as well, I have a YouTube channel, Alice Mike's podcast. I have quite a bit of videos, and see if I could. I'm probably gonna put your commercial on Facebook or so, or share that one. I just gotta find it. Yeah, so there's more episodes coming up. Thank you so much for listening. Any last remarks?
No, just thank you for inviting me, and hopefully all the people that were listening, hopefully it was an insight of knowledge they didn't know, and it's hopefully you guys liked the conversation we had regarding insurance.
All right, everybody, take care. Bye.